Zidane Daney, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Nerd Chat here on Electro Ninja's Lab. I am here with my fellow hosts,
I'm Jack.
Joker.
and today we're going to talk about what happened this weekend, or this week, I should say, with the Pokemon. To be fair, we kind
Yes,
of knew that.
Pokemon went live and told us something we never saw coming.
Yeah,
Way to go to still be surprising us and somehow also disappointing half your fan base. I don't know how that happened. The adult Pokemon fan base is just vile sometimes.
yeah. So, so we obviously were talking about how the most likely thing was going to be Unova or Johto. So we were expecting Unova or Johto
And
games.
we were wrong.
We were wrong. Legends ZA is what we get instead, and I'm kind of thrilled.
I have a lot of questions, none of which have been answered, but
Yeah,
I do think it could be interesting. I do think I need to get X and Y back from my friend so that I can play through that and, drag my fingernails over my face while I go through a non-open world Pokemon game again.
fair. But yeah, I think that it's interesting though to see this game finally coming out, and then it's just like or being announced. I do have to say I'm kind of wondering like what exactly is going to be happening with the game, because obviously in 2016 or 2026, sorry, that is going to be the 30-year anniversary.
Yep.
So 2025 is when we're getting this game. So I'm wondering if like part of their reasoning for doing the Legends game in 2025 and basically taking this year off was to one, obviously set aside more time to do development and stuff. But then people are going to be thinking it's also kind of like a misdirect, and people are going to think, oh, so Legends ZA is basically going to be their one they're taking more time because they want to focus on that. My wonder is maybe it's not just that, but they are going to be doing something really massive for Gen 10.
Yeah, I feel like they have two teams going.
Yeah.
And I feel like one team is working on Gen 10 and has been since Gen 9 came out.
Yeah.
Or before even, because the 30th anniversary is a huge fucking deal, especially for a franchise like this.
Yeah.
And I think that they definitely have a team working on Gen 10, and I don't know what it's going to be. I have no idea. I literally could not fathom what it could be. But I also know it doesn't really matter because of the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
And so whoever's working on ZA is probably a very separate, department from Gen 10.
Yeah. So, needless to say, I'm intrigued, and I'm also thinking. I think it's kind of interesting because people are they're already saying it is going to be the Nintendo Switch, not the Switch 2. Like maybe that's just a placeholder for now. And they are going to be actually releasing it on the Switch 2, but at the same time, we don't know anything about the Switch 2 yet, so it might just
Exactly.
like they haven't actually announced that yet, so it's like maybe we're not getting a Switch 2 in 2025, or maybe we are, and it's just like way later than ZA. Like maybe ZA will be early in the year, while the Switch 2 is later in the year, closer to Christmas.
I swear to God, if they make the ZA come out in September of 2025, there's gonna be a part of me that's a little bit pissed.
I mean, fair.
And there's gonna be another part of me that is like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Because that means they took a lot of time on it.
Yes. I am a little bit concerned about there have been rumors that the with Legends ZA, it's and I think that Nintendo might have tweeted this, that it is just gonna be in Lumio City.
Yeah.
And I'm not certain how I feel about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a little bit nervous about that because I mean they blew us away with Blueberry Academy. That's not a lie.
Yeah.
they did manage to put a bunch of Pokemon in natural-ish habitats inside of a building. So, but
Yeah.
but I am nervous.
Yeah. And another thing to think about is that I think a lot of people are kind of assuming that this is going to be a future game. I don't think
No, I
that.
definitely think it's gonna be past, but I don't know.
I can't imagine it not having to do with AZ.
Yeah.
So I think that they are going to be doing some whatever they're going to be doing. I think that they are going to be ZA is going to or AZ is going to be involved somehow. What exactly that means, I'm not sure. But I'm again not sure. Joker, do you have any thoughts?
Not really, because I've never played XY.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the trading card game app that they're bringing out.
I mean, fair. But also you need to play X and Y. It's like
It's actually one of the best games I've played.
yeah. Like
I have it somewhere.
yeah,
It's also a huge a huge step forward in the ability of Sprite to make sprites and use more than a couple colors, because Xerneas uses the most colors of any Pokemon.
yes, he does.
I don't have XY. I have Black White. That's what I have.
Oh, you need to get an X or a Y. I don't.
Luckily, X and Y are not like going to be super expensive if you find them at a secondhand like GameStop, because they're not like rare or.
Yeah, like I think X and Y kind of came out at the perfect time because it was so obviously there had been a downfall because of Black and White. We all know this, that there was that Black and White kind of like, even though it does have its fans now, X and Y was actually like kind of perfect. Even though it had like the least number of Pokemon, it was such a big boost, and it was really early on in the 3DS lifespan that pretty much that it was the only Pokemon game there. So I think that with all of that, I think a lot of people really enjoyed it, and on top of that, people have been asking for Mega Evolution since it was taken away from them. Like obviously you could use it in like the Sun and Moon games, but it was much less, obviously. So I don't know. I'm intrigued to see like people like I said, people have been asking for more X and Y stuff since X and Y, because obviously they didn't get a Z. They didn't get it did get a remake in that generation with the the Hoenn games with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, which those were also very popular. But then we haven't really seen anything. There hasn't really been anything since. So while I am a little bit disappointed that we didn't get like a Unova or a Johto game, I also think that it's completely it's less about that and more, hey, we need to make up for what we failed to do during the X and Y era, because a lot of people were disappointed, and I'll admit I was kind of one of those who was like, why did we not get a Z game? Why did we not get more story, especially about AZ? And I think that because of the fact that it is called Pokemon ZA, I think it's going to have to do with something about AZ. So I'm also kind of wondering if like the Z is specifically referring to Zygarde, while the A is referring to AZ.
Yeah, I don't know, but I agree that it has to mention them at some point.
Yeah, like to be fair, like no matter where you put it on the timeline between the calamity of what happened, however 1,000 years, was it 9,000? I think it was 9,000. However long ago it was, when ZA did his use the ultimate weapon, it has to be somewhere between then and the actual X and Y games, no matter where you put it on there, he's around. What exactly? Like he's been alive for that entire time, so it's not like he's. So him being involved is pretty much a definite. Um, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm also like intrigued to see what they're going to be doing with Lumio City because it feels like it's supposed to be something where you're building the city. Like maybe it was like completely destroyed and you're rebuilding the entire city. Like maybe there's a few buildings here and there, but as a whole, the city needs to be completely rebuilt.
I think that's what's going on, and people are concerned that it's going to be like a world builder, and I don't think that's true. But I do think there's going to be something about the fact that they are rebuilding.
Yeah. And I'm kind of thinking as well with that is that one of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to catch Pokemon that are kind of in the quote-unquote bounds of Lumio City, and you will then give some of those Pokemon to different people around the city, and those Pokemon will then help out with rebuilding the city. Maybe like you catch like a whole bunch of Go-Goats and you set up the Go-Goat transportation or something like that.
Yeah. And, you know, like in Arceus where you give them a water type for the garden, and then you know, you give that one lady a Geodude for her pickling jar.
Yeah, and all sorts of things like that. And I think that that would be really cool if we get to see more of that, especially if and you basically, even if you give away your Pokemon to these people, you will then be able to still see these Pokemon out in the world doing their different deeds. And I think that's going to be really cool, to say the least. And
yeah, I think they have a lot of potential with this game.
They do, and I think that's part of the reason why this game is gonna be only focusing on Lumio City. Maybe there will be like expeditions that you do throughout the rest of the world in order to like, hey, we need some specific types of Pokemon in order to do things. And then, so you will still go outside of Lumio City to other locations throughout the world, but it's not going to be like you're not going to be going out to these places all the time. It's mostly going to be in Lumio City. That's going to be where the open world is. And then these other locations are much smaller. I don't even think that they're going to be on the same scale as Legends Arceus. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So I don't know exactly what they're gonna do, but I think it's gonna be fun, whatever they do. And I want another trailer. I know that's a little bit selfish, but at the same time, I really want.
No, it would be good.
I want another trailer so that we can see what this is, with actual gameplay. It doesn't have to be much, but like, I don't know. There's lots of things with that. And obviously you're going to be able to get like all of the different Pokemon and stuff like that. But I'm also wondering like what exactly are they going to do with the starter situation?
Yeah, that's the big conversation in the Facebook groups right now is what are the starters going to be?
Yeah. Because I've watched MNJTV's video and I recommend that anyone who's watching this video does go and watch that video. And I'll send you guys the link, and I'll see if I can post that link in the in the actual description. But he makes some really interesting, some really good points about it. Let me go ahead and just grab the link. So he like said that his guess is obviously Piplup because of the whole the Empoleon thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
He also said Superior, and then he wasn't 100% certain on the fire starter, but he thinks that it might be Scorbunny.
Yeah, I feel like Cinderace, I'm not really sure fits in. I think it's probably more likely to be Torchic, honestly, because the chicken is also a symbol of royalty in France.
Yeah.
So because we've got Empoleon, who's named after obviously Napoleon, Sir Viper, who is literally modeled after French royalty, French upper class. Just look at the way it's modeled, and then I would say Blaziken, because again, the chicken is the symbol of royalty and leadership in France.
Okay, I didn't know that actually, but that actually makes a lot more sense then. So so some of the things that he gave as the reasoning for certain things is I think he didn't necessarily know that, so that might be why he didn't put
That's fair.
Torchic in there. But yeah. But obviously, so we cannot expect any of the Gen 1 starters as being your starter. We cannot expect any of the Kalos starters as being your starters. And we cannot expect any of the Paldean starters to be your starters. So one of the things, though, that he said as to why he doesn't think that Torchic was actually reasonable is because of the fact that it has a Mega Evolution already.
Which does make sense.
Yeah.
I can see them not doing it for that reason, and because the chicken is such an obscure reference.
Yeah. So,
not that they don't make obscure references, but that one's a little bit weird.
Yeah, and I think that that it is. That's actually why I think that it does make sense. So yeah, and the fact that they are bringing back Mega Evolutions, and they're probably going to give each of the new starters will be getting a Mega Evolution, and quite likely the original starters will probably also get Mega Evolutions that have just been lost to time. But there's absolutely going to be some more Mega Evolutions. Don't know exactly what people are what they're going to be giving, but I'm excited to say the least. I think that it would be reasonable to assume that some of the Kalos specific Pokemon are going to be getting Mega Evolutions. I specifically think that the starters are going to be getting Mega Evolutions. Beyond that, I'm not certain. But also, every Mega Evolution that has existed is probably going to be in this game. So even though the original Hoenn starters were not originally in X and Y, they probably will be in this game in ZA, so that we can actually get to use their Mega Evolutions again. So I don't know. It's kind of an it's going to be interesting to say the least. And
I want to make an Evolution Charizard.
Huh?
It exists.
I want to Mega Evolution Charizard.
It has 2.
I'm like, bro, that for sure exists.
Yeah. For
I know. I just bought one for the game.
Yeah, you'll get one. Like pretty much, there's a reason that everyone goes for Charizard as their second starter for that game, and it's because of the fact that it has 2 Mega Evolutions.
Got 2 cool Mega Evolutions.
It does.
I personally like the blue and black one.
Most people prefer the blue and black one, especially since it's a dragon type, and that's like overpowered as fuck.
True.
So yeah, I expect us to see a lot more Mega Evolutions, and I think that we need to in the future, I would like for us to kind of come up with some ideas for Mega Evolutions. You know what might be fun is like maybe each of us grabs a different Pokemon at some point, and we like come up with a little bit of a design, and it could be rough sketch or whatever, of what we would like to see for a Mega Evolution for that Pokemon. Obviously, like, we're not like professional Pokemon artists, but I think that it could still be fun to at least come up with our concepts of what we would like to see for them. What do you guys think?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Designing our own Mega Evolutions. Would you want? Would you guys want to do that?
Yeah, I could do that.
And maybe we'll like show them off in like a future nerd chat when all of us have done them. And like I said, they don't have to be perfect. They could just be sketches or whatever. Because obviously, like we're not professional. We're not professionals when it comes to designing Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I needless to say, I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing. And I kind of want there to be a Dragonite. Just be like everyone's been saying that for years, and I kind of agree with that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see exactly what they decide to do, but I don't know. So for the record, just so everyone is aware, at this point in time, there is Venusaur, 2 Charizards, 1 Blastoise, Alakazam, Gengar, Genghis-Khan, Pinsir, Gyarados, Aerodactyl, 2 Mewtwo's, Ampharos, Scizor, Heracross, Houndoom, Tyranitar, Blaziken, Gardevoir, Mawile, Aggron, Medicham, Manectric, Bayonet, Absol, Latios and Latias, Garchomp, Lucario, and Abomasnow. And those were the ones that were those were the ones that were in X and Y. And then in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we got Beedrill, Pidgeot, Slowbro, Steelix, Sceptile, Swampert, Sableye, Sharpedo, Camerupt, Altaria, Glalie, Salamence, Metagross, Rayquaza, Lopunny, Gallade, Audino, and Deontay. So, needless to say, I really want to see what these guys are going to look like. And they need, especially the legendaries and the mythicals, they need to be somewhere in the game that you can just get them. I'm not exactly certain what they would do with that, but yeah. But I think the only one that I would kind of like to have them not put in the only Mega Evolution I don't really want to see in Legends in Legends ZA is maybe Rayquaza, and the reason for that is because I would kind of like it to be something that you have to transfer into that in order to get the Mega Evolution.
I think that's fair.
Especially since we did get him in the Blueberry Academy. So, or maybe they could just like release as we get closer to ZA, we get like in Scarlet and Violet, we get like a small little event or whatever that maybe like you go to a special place, maybe like up north close to Kalos, you can find like some maybe you'll be able to find like a small selection of Mega Evolution Mega Stones. I don't know exactly what they would do with that. And if they are maybe it's just like Pokemon that are already in either the base game or Rayquaza. You can find their Mega Evolutions, and that's it. It does not need to be like a huge number of them or anything like that. Maybe it would be every single one that's in the base game, like maybe like Heracross and Pinsir and all that jazz. But or I don't even think Pinsir's in the base game. No, it isn't. But maybe maybe like the base whatever's in the base game plus Rayquaza, you can find their Mega Evolutions up north. Close to Kalos. I don't know.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. And maybe it's just like a very small free update that they just put out and be like, yeah, here's something cool. We're gonna that's kind of promoting ZA, and maybe there's like a small little quest, and you're able to, you go up there and then boom, you get like you can get like certain Mega Evolutions, and it will only be for Pokemon that you have or something like that. So you're not able to get the Rayquaza until after you've done that. Or wait, Rayquaza doesn't even have a stone, does it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Rayquaza's special. I forgot about that. And that's also kind of fun with Rayquaza because of the fact that it doesn't have a Mega Stone. It can use an item, but I don't know. I also think that I think it would be reasonable with ZA to maybe make it so that they don't specifically need to be holding their Mega Stone.
Yeah, I think that should happen, definitely.
Because, for one thing, it means that they have just the Mega Stone. They can't use anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's annoying, but we'll see exactly what they do. Maybe like the X and Y stones are exclusive versions also. So Mewtwo's Mega Stone, you can get one in X and one in Y, or sorry, not one in X and one in Y. Maybe one in Arceus, or sorry, why can't I speak today? One in Violet, one in Scarlet, and like maybe Charizard X is in Violet, Charizard Y is in Scarlet, and then for Mewtwo it's the same thing. Like maybe X is, or actually, what would be interesting with that is maybe if they swap it, just to fuck with us.
Yeah, they'd probably only do that, honestly.
But also, like, Mewtwo is not something that you can just get in Scarlet and Violet, so I don't. Maybe they'll also implement a way to get Mewtwo regularly, as well as other Pokemon that are exclusively through raids. Cough, cough.
That would be cool.
Because I know that
Are you thinking about?
Huh?
Are you thinking about Walking Awake and Iron Leaves?
Yeah, like part of me is thinking like if they are gonna do that, it needs to be something where you can it's only maybe it's only accessible if you haven't gotten them yet, or maybe there's like a special raid in that will spawn and you can just refight them and it's always in that specific location or whatever, and they'll just be there. And if you have already caught them, then that raid will just turn into a regular raid.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot. Because if you miss those two, or I guess those three raids, and those, or rather those, those three raids and Mew, then you're just not getting them, and that's kind of annoying. Like, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what they want to do with that, but I'd like them to do something with it to make it better. But
yeah, agreed.
I don't know. We'll see exactly what they decide to do as the story continues. But those are my thoughts right now. Needless to say, I'm excited to see if they're going to be what they're going to be doing with Mega Evolutions. I'm hoping that they're not going to be doing. They're not going to add any more Gen 1 Pokemon to with Mega Evolutions. I know
I would agree with that.
I know that's a little bit mean to some people might say that, but at the same time, they got the most Mega Evolutions, and I don't. It's not fair to the rest of the crew.
Agreed.
I do want to say though, I do think that Slowking should get a Mega Evolution because obviously Slowbro already has one, but Slowking needs to have one as well.
I just sent the group chat my idea for a Mega.
Okay, cool. Let me go.
That I doodled.
Okay. That's actually kind of cool.
Right.
Oh, that's kind of hilarious. We'll how about we'll reveal this in a future nerd chat once we all have our own Mega Evolutions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you think we should? So obviously we've talked about how there's gonna be more Mega Evolutions, and we've talked about like kind of a few different things. Is there anything that you want to see in X and Y that unfortunately we just haven't gotten around to yet, or they just weren't able to do in the original game or something like that.
I haven't played it in so long. I do not remember.
Okay. So, let's switch topics then. Is there what would be something that it was in Legends Arceus that you would like to see?
The catching mechanism, 100%.
Absolutely. I think everyone just wants that catching mechanism because it's one of the best catching mechanisms ever. So I think that they absolutely should do that. I would also like to see something along the lines of, so basically what I would like to see is, frick, why did I lost my train of thought? We'll come back to that. Alternate versions for Pokemon, because obviously Alola was the first one to start doing that, so we hadn't seen regional variation for X and Y yet. So, do you guys have any Pokemon that you think would be that we had in that you would like to see and get more alternate version?
I think, yeah, there was. What was it? It was an early bird I was thinking about.
Pidgey, Spearow.
Shut up. I'm looking up a list.
Okay.
You know, it would be kind of cool to have a regional specific of the guy who's holding a leak. What's his name? Fuck.
Oh, Farfetch'd?
Farfetch'd, yeah.
I mean, we did get that in frickin' Sword and Shield, but I would like to see that one again. That one was pretty cool.
Yeah, that one. I guess that's not a super old one, but
yeah. So
maybe neat.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
to be
Rowlet,
fair,
maybe Hoot Hoot.
Hoot Hoot would be fun. That would be fun, actually. I think that I would actually really appreciate Hoot Hoot getting a alternate version. Also,
I think Pidgey has to be in the game because it's set in a city, and if you don't have pigeons in a city, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, I think that pretty much, and same thing goes for Pidove.
Yeah.
So both of those,
and probably Starly too, honestly.
Yeah. So pretty much any of those Pokemon that really make sense for the cities, maybe like those will be just constantly spawning throughout the even as you expand the city, those will be just like all over the place, and maybe and you can just catch them. And I think the same thing should happen with like rats and other things like that.
So, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be hilarious if they just had every Pikachu clone ever as the rats that live in the city?
Oh, that would be hilarious. Speaking of which, there have been some people saying there should be sewers for the game, and I kind of agree
that would be dope as fuck. So many Grimers.
Yeah, Grimers, Trubbish. That's actually something I think they should do. They should have an older version of Trubbish, as well as Garbodor, because obviously,
I say Tangela would be down there too.
Yes, like all of these really disgusting Pokemons, like and there should be mushrooms in there. Huh? What'd you say?
Totodile.
Totodile? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
He's got to be down there because Gators.
Well, I think that if they were to do that, I think they would probably go with Sandile. But at the same time, I think that if they were to do that, I think they would need to give him an alternate version. That would actually
that's true.
That would be cool, actually, to think about. What if, Sandile got a regional variant, and it's because it lives in the sewers. And maybe, like, there's actually a shit ton of these things all over the place, but, you'd never see them because we haven't gone into the sewers yet.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, obvious, like, maybe they're, yeah, I think that, because, like, obviously we have gone into the sewers in some games, but it's, like, it's pretty rare. So,
Yeah.
and it was, and I think all of them were before Sandal got introduced. Or regional
Sure.
variants. Sorry, what were you saying?
All I said was true.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's all sorts of different things that could be really interesting. And honestly, I should probably look at the Pokedex, to be blatantly honest. Here, let's see. National Pokedex. Here we go. So, obviously, I think that both versions of Rattatas should be in the sewers. Like, maybe, like, the higher up you are, it's just regular Rattatas, but then the deeper you go into the sewers, it's the Alolan forms. That would be absolutely hilarious and kind of terrifying, especially because of the fact that they're black, and it's just, like, as it gets darker in there, they could just spring on you, and you'll just suddenly be in a fight.
Wow, yeah.
Like, that would be terrifying, but at the same time, holy cow, that would be amazing. I also would kind of like to see the snake Pokemon be in there.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Zubat,
maybe like a water and ground type.
Yeah.
Regional variant.
Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, all of the Pikachu, maybe like all of the Pikachu
you bring me a
clones.
bottle cap?
Huh?
This cat just brought me a damn bottle cap to play fetch with.
What the frell? Weird. But yeah, so all of the I think all of the Pikachu clones, including Pikachu, should be like at the earliest level of the sewers if they do the whole sewer thing.
Agreed.
Like maybe some of them are not there, but at the same time that would be kind of cool. Also, I think that all three versions of Meowth and as well as both versions of Persian and Berserker, they should also be they should just be wandering the city.
The Alolan one should be in the sewer for sure, though.
That's kind of mean because
they're so horrible.
I think honestly,
those are the ugliest fucking cats I've ever seen in my life.
Fair. But also, I think that Galarian makes more sense in the sewer.
They look like what would happen if you gave a cat to the Dread Pirate Roberts and said, "Don't give it love."
Yeah, fair. But yeah, I think that all like regular and maybe I think all three Meows wandering the city would actually make a lot of sense, and they're just like stray cats. And same thing goes for like the different dog Pokemon.
But if we're gonna have them wandering the city, I need the Alolan ones to be super fucking aggressive and just like you'll just be walking and there's like wah! Well, all the other Meowth are like just chilling, but these fucking Alolan ones are just mean.
Well, I mean, Galarian one is supposed to be the one that's actually terrifying, but yeah.
Oh no, that's the one I'm talking about. That's fucking ugly. The Galarian one.
Okay, the one with the beard.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Because the Alolan one is just gray, and
no, the Alolan one is fine. The Galarian one is the one that I'm pissed off about.
Okay.
It's horrible.
And then also all of the dogs should be wandering the streets. Slowbros in the wells.
Okay. But there needs to be like a bakery district or like a food district somewhere where there's like shops and bakeries and stuff. Because it's France, right? So there's gonna be like a patisserie and a boulangerie and different things for different pieces of food, and that's where I want Dachshund to hang out.
Yes, abso-frickin-lutely. As well as all of the other food Pokemon should just be like they mostly hang out with the food in the food areas.
Agreed.
So that would be fun. Honestly, I'm not certain how many Pokemon they're gonna put in this game though, because let's see. So how many Pokemon were in How many? Do you know? Do you remember the number in Legends?
I don't, but I can look. Hang on.
All right.
Carmine's just yapping at me.
Fair.
Hang on. Let's see.
Pokemon.
Painting is called Genevieve 416. What's that all about? Well, April 16th was day by
Oh,
So,
242.
Oh.
I guess I was faster, but that's okay.
Free of sales.
How many?
242 Pokemon were.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're gonna do more than that.
So let's say they do 350, right?
Yeah, let's. That seems like a reasonable number.
So we're predicting 350. I can't put an ant on my paper. Damn it.
And I think that it should.
And that includes the starters. And so we're predicting what for the starters. What are we predicting officially?
So the
Piplup.
Piplup and Snivy for the
Snivy.
for the water and grass, and then
And I think Torchic.
you think Torchic. Honestly, I don't really know exactly what the fire starter is going to be because it. At the same time, I really do kind of agree with M&J TV that Torchic doesn't really make sense at this point in time.
Okay, so I'll put runner up.
Yeah, so it could be pretty much anyone. At this
What was MGT TV's thing?
that was Score Bunny.
All right, that'll be the runner up.
Why would they do Score Bunny again?
Well, because
I
Score
love
Bunny.
Score Bunny, but
Because
why?
soccer. Because that was like it's literally the only one that really makes sense at all. Because
It's the national sport of France.
yeah. So like at this point in time, they can't do any of the so they can't do any of the Kanto Pokemon. Fire Pokemon, it really wouldn't make sense with Chikorita or Totodile to be the starter. And Cyndaquil's already
Unfortunately, that's true.
Cyndaquil was the starter in Hisui, so so the fire can't be there. Torchic is kind of a weird situation because Blaziken got a Mega Evolution, so that one is kind of an iffy, like I said, iffy situation. Chimchar maybe could make sense if we weren't doing Piplup.
True.
And then let's keep going. Tepig could also kind of make sense if it wasn't for Snivy, but also like that's different region anyways. Doesn't make sense for there. And then what's next? So obviously they can't do any of the Gen 6 Pokemon. Maybe like Litten is I think the only one that really that could also be available besides Score Bunny. So it's either Litten or Score Bunny are the only real options. And Score Bunny makes more sense.
Litten would be cool.
Litten would be cool, but at the same time it's the only like only those two make sense, and Score Bunny does make a little bit more sense because of the whole soccer thing. So yeah, I don't know. So obviously,
Well, it looks like I'm not choosing Fire for that game.
huh?
It looks like I'm not choosing Fire for that game.
Well, honestly, I don't really think that Fire is gonna be. I think whatever they do, Fire is either going to be, like I said, it's either going to be Litten or it's going to be Score Bunny, unless they decide to go with Torchic, which like I said, I don't see that happening. So those are the only two options, and honestly, I'm not really thrilled with either of them. I think that if I was going to be going with any of them, I would probably go with it's probably going to be freaking Piplup, because I always go Piplup when it comes to whenever I have the option. Like it's a hard chance for it to not be Piplup for me, because Piplup is one of my favorite Pokemon. And my other favorite Pokemon were already in previous games, so really recently. So for starters, so they're not in the options. Also, do you think that they're going to obviously we think I think that Ash Greninja should be in the game. Do you think that they should do other Pokemon along those lines? Where they're not necessarily Mega Evolutions, but they have some ties to it. Obviously, we have the Primal Reversions for the Hoenn Final Evolutions, or the Hoenn, not Final Evolution. Hoenn Legendaries have Primal Reversion.
Yeah.
So, and Ash Greninja exists. Do you think that there's going to be any other Pokemon kind of like that?
I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah. Because, like, I think that if they were to do anything like that, it would probably be for, it would probably be for the starters. So maybe, like, Chestnut gets a special form, Delphox gets a special form, and it's, like, something that you have to do, like, it's a battle bond situation where you take down a Pokemon and then they change into that form or whatever. Or maybe it's just something you activate. I don't know. Because honestly, that's another thing with Greninja is if they're going to do Battle Bond, I kind of want it to be something that they transform into. So, I don't know. Also, do you think that they're going to implement any of the other gimmicks that have been in the recent games? Like,
No, I think they'll probably just stick with Megas, honestly.
Fair enough. Like, obviously, Z-moves kind of lived alongside them for a little bit there, but it was pretty minor. Well, Mega Evolution was minor in that game.
True.
But also, it wouldn't really make too much sense. So, I don't know. What were the other special things? Oh, Gigantamax. Yeah, I don't see Gigantamax happening.
Yeah, no, I don't see it either.
So, yeah, probably Mega Evolution. But I think that one thing that I do have to say about the whole Mega Evolution situation is I'm wondering if maybe they're going to give it to maybe instead of it just being like some, maybe I think that they're going to give it to a lot more Pokemon, but I don't know exactly what they would do. Because
that's fair, yeah.
Because for one thing, Mega Evolution when they did that as a gimmick, they kind of made it challenging to do anything with any of the you only had it for very specific Pokemon, and none of the other Pokemon were able to get that. So therefore, so obviously with the Mega Evolution situation there, I kind of think that they need to with the other games. So like Z moves, any Pokemon can do a Z move. You just only get one per turn. Which it's also the worst of the four. Gigantamax, anyone can Gigantamax, but then there is the special version for certain Pokemon, and that's reasonable. And then with the most recent version, everyone can Terrasilize, and then there's like the very, very special versions, which with the 2 legendaries that get those special.
Get going, cats. Cat and dogs. Go away. Go away. I sent the thoughts I wrote down about the prediction for Pokemons.
Okay. Let's take a look at this. What did you say here? Ba. Okay. Oh, so that's for the Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So it's just all of the different notes and stuff that we've been basically talking.
Correct.
Okay. I feel like there were a lot of. Speaking of which, I think there were, if I'm remembering correctly, there were a lot of Unova Pokemon in X and Y.
Was Sock in X and Y?
I don't remember. I think that they were. Sock and Throw might have been, but I don't remember. because I remember because I skipped Black and White, I thought that freaking what was it? Dwebble, the Dwebble line. I thought that was an X and Y thing. Because I remember specifically Roggenrola, or not. Why did I say Dwebble? Roggenrola to Gigalith. Those were the I thought that they were something that got introduced in X and Y. They were not.
Wait, okay, what region is X and Y again?
That would be Kalos.
It is an X and Y.
This sock and throw.
Yep.
Yeah.
How does Kalos take place?
Huh?
Because like we have Spain, we have France, we have England. Where does Kalos take place?
Kalos
Kalos
is
is France.
Or France. Yes, thank you. I'm tired. But yeah, it's
Black
the France.
and White is France as well.
Huh?
No, Black and White is New York City.
Oh,
Yeah.
X and Y is France. Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think. Also, do you think that we're gonna be seeing any fossil Pokemon in ZA?
I think that would be super cool, but I don't know that we'll see it.
Okay. Yeah.
They've kept real quiet about it, and people have been asking for it for so long. I feel like if they were gonna do something about it, that
Yeah. Because like with the fossil Pokemon, in general, is that depending on when it is, it may or may not make sense for them to have fossil Pokemon in there. Basically, with the whole Hisui thing, the fossil Pokemon were not something that you could just you couldn't just find them out in the wild. You had it was special space time distortions, and that's how you got those fossils. I don't really see that necessarily happening in this, but one thing that I could see happening is Xerneas giving life back to like maybe you're trying to follow maybe one of the missions that you have to do is following Xerneas, and maybe he brings back a whole bunch of the different fossil Pokemon, and that's how you get fossil Pokemon. But I don't know. Honestly, the Xerneas and Yveltal situation is just like, it's really interesting what they could do with them, because obviously Xerneas is the life Pokemon, Yveltal is the destruction. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe like Yveltal. Sorry, I know it's kind of a weird thing for me to say, but yeah, I'm gonna keep calling him Yveltal. Yveltal. Maybe Yveltal is the reason why the Lumiose City was destroyed, and then Xerneas brought it back to life. Or you're basically like you're trying to find Xerneas in order to bring it back to life, and then Zygarde is basically is going to be kind of keeping things in order.
I mean, that makes sense to me, quite honestly.
Yeah. Also, I really want to see like the Zygarde hounds just like wandering the street sometimes, and you have to run after them to catch them.
That would be good.
Like they're like maybe they're like a rare spawn, and there are 10 of them. Maybe there's just 10 of them wandering throughout the city, pretty much from the beginning of the game, but you can't catch them until a certain point. And when you get 5 of them, you can merge them together to form Zygarde 50%, and then when you get all 100, you can get the complete form.
That would be cool.
I don't know.
I can see them doing something stupid like that to have us do busy work in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the original way that you got the complete form of Zygarde, you had to go around and gather the 100 or so freaking Zygarde cores or whatever the fuck they were.
True.
Cells, whatever they were. Yeah.
They were cells.
Yeah. And that was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, well, whatever they do, if it tops the 999 Gimmighoul coins, I'll be floored.
Oh my,
That was some bullshit.
it really was. But actually, you know what I would really like to them to do is that you do have to find. I think that you should have to find the 5 Zygarde cores.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, because those were the 5. I believe in the lore of Zygarde, there are 5 cores that exist, and I think that frick, let me look at the. I wish I could just look at the image. So it's like there's a blue one, there's a lighter blue one, there's a white one, there's an orange one, and there's a red one. So you have to find those 5 in order to actually do this thing. And maybe and you still have to like defeat. Maybe you still have to battle him or something in order to get the in his complete form in order to get him, and then you can downgrade them to the smaller forms or something in your own time. Which also, I would like to see more Zygarde forms, because there's the 10% form, there's the 50% form, and there's the complete form. So I'd kind of like to see more in between there. Like maybe there's a 20% form, and that's basically each of the cores has like their entire has collected all of their cells that exist out there.
I like that idea.
And maybe that's like how you get the different cores, and then you can downgrade. Maybe they start out as the 10% form, and then and those will be basically wandering, and there will be 10 of those. But if you collect one that has the core and one that doesn't, you can combine them into the 20% form. I don't know. Like I said, I'm spitballing here, but at the same time, it would. There's a lot of things that could be really fun with that. And I don't know. Like I said, Zygarde is such an interesting situation, anyways, that I really have no idea what they're going to be doing with him. Also, Diancie, Hoopa, and Volcanion. I want to see more of their lore. Also, same thing goes for where is it? Magearna. Bring Magearna into this, because Magearna, I think, technically, Magearna is is an Alolan Pokemon, but at the same time, it was kind of connected into the X and Y stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I kind of want to see Magearna in there, but I also would understand if they didn't do that. I don't know. One of the big things that I really want them to do is make it easier to get the legendary Pokemon, because there are so many legendary Pokemon that you just can't find, or rather they're mythical Pokemon, whatever. So like Magearna, Marshadow, Zeraora, Meltan's a little bit easier, but that's still Meltan. The freaking, what were they? There were more. I don't remember all of them, but you get my point. There's all these Pokemon that are mythicals, and then you can't. If you miss out on their events, then you can't get them. And it's a lot. There's a lot more earlier on, and several of them have become easier over the years. But at the same time, I want it to be just let them be in the base game, please. I don't know. So we've been going for a while now. This was our disorganized thoughts on Pokemon ZA. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.
But we stayed on topic, so like, hey, good for us.
We did stay on topic. To be fair, Legend ZA, and Joker hardly said anything, but that's mostly because he didn't play X and Y. Play X and Y, yeah. Joker.
Seconded. Play it.
Yeah, he's muted right now. He might be talking to somebody, so.
Yeah, I heard someone come in his room and start shouting, so.
Yeah, so we'll just assume that he's busy. But yeah, Pokemon.
He's indisposed at the moment.
He's indisposed. But Pokemon ZA, who's excited? We are. Especially me and Jack. I think that I'm hoping that Joker will enjoy the game when it comes out because it's gonna be fun. Sadly, we have to wait over a year probably. Because I mean, there's a chance it releases in January or February, but I don't see it releasing either of those.
They could release it on Pokemon Day.
They could. So that would be actually really fun if they did decide to do that. Like, granted, that's the 29th anniversary, but so I think that they might do something else, but I don't know. Also, I think
that'd be a good 29th anniversary. I mean, it's not the special one yet, but it's important.
Yeah. And maybe, like, as they do this, they also reveal Gen 10! Or whatever they're getting.
Yeah, you know. I can see them doing that.
Also, I kind of think that they're going to have another Pokemon Direct some point this year, but I don't know exactly what they're going to do with it. Probably going to be, like, my guess is that throughout this year, they're going to be putting out trailers for Pokemon ZA. And then at the on Pokemon Day next year, they will announce Gen 10, the biggest generation ever. And it will be releasing on the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. With over 1,510 Pokemon. I highly doubt they're going to get to that many. But it would be
I
fun.
would be floored.
Yeah, if they actually got it to 1,510 Pokemon to make it literally be 10 times the Pokemon, that would be insane. And you're especially if you're able to catch all of them in this one game.
Oh my god, the Pokedex.
Oh my gosh. I'm also kind of
I'm a completionist, Zephram. Don't speak that shit over me. You take that black magic back, Ricky Bobby.
Fair. But yeah, I'm excited. Needless to say, we're excited to see what is going to be happening. And yeah, we'll see what the discussion is for next Nerd Chat, because there might be a few special things that we're going to be talking about in the next one. We'll see. It might just be a Avatar / Percy Jackson, one of the two, maybe both. Maybe if Jack finishes them.
Yeah, Jack's gonna try.
Yeah, please try. Speaking of which, you should watch that as we have our discussion afterwards. Anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this Nerd Chat. I've been Electro Ninja. He's been Jack. Joker has been here, but he's just currently indisposed. And we will see you guys next time. But on.